Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're doing good and well. So it's time for another album review this week. This Saturday I'm reviewing a new release though. This is the third album from Anette Olzon, of course formerly of Nightwish. This is her release Rapture, which came out yesterday on the 10th of May via Frontiers Records. This album is 11 tracks and a little over 45 minutes in length. So Anette, of course, everyone thinks of her time in Nightwish, and it's hard, I think sometimes people struggle to think of her in any other way, and they tend to only compare her to Flora and Taya as well, the other Nightwish singers, which I think is pretty unfair because I think Anette is just, she's great in her own right as a singer and performer. I thought she brought something a bit more unique to Nightwish actually in the albums that she was involved with, to the two full-length albums she was involved with. And what I really like about her is, as well as having her own unique singing style, which yes, it kind of fits more within the pop or the rock mould perhaps than Flora or particularly Taya's singing voice did, but she's got a lot of personality and character about her for me. I've seen her in interviews and live performances. I've not seen her live actually in a real live setting, but I get the sense from Anette whenever I see her that she brings something else in terms of character to her songs, and I really like that about her. Her songs also have this sort of sway and swing about them, which I love. A lot of her songs have that, and it's just sort of, you kind of want to just kind of groove away to them, sway away to them, and swing around to them when you're listening to them. It's just something about that with her performances and the way she delivers her vocal lines that sort of gets me every time. You only need to listen to one line from Anette singing almost, and you just know it's her immediately. In fact, just a few seconds probably, and you know it's Anette Olzon. I think that's another good thing about her actually, that you can tell it's her almost instantly. She has a signature voice. That's perhaps the best way to sum up, her singing way. I think she just has that signature voice, and this album brings that, and it brings a lot of that signature voice. So I think if you're a fan of her, and a fan of her from her Nightwish era, like people refer to maybe as the Dark Passion Play days and the Imaginarium days, then you will still, I think you'll enjoy this. This is a really good album. It's very, very good anyway. I think it's pretty, it's a decent, certainly a decent effort at the least for me from Anette and this latest solo offering. If anything, my one criticism of this album, perhaps the most major criticism of all criticisms really, is that I don't think it quite offers enough consistency from song to song. There's songs on here I love that make me want to go out and buy a physical copy of the record, but then there's a few songs here that don't quite do enough for me. Now, whilst we're on the songs, let's move on to the tracks from this album. For me, I really like the involved singles in particular, those being Heed the Call and Rapture, the title track, bringing what I said earlier, bringing that Anette personality and those characteristics to the sort of, and that symphonic metal sound, that sound's here, and that bombastic sound is definitely here. I like the way the album's being produced by Magnus Carlsen, who also I believe was involved in production of the previous album, and he's on guitars here as well, certainly bringing some big riffage along to things too. This is also mixed by Jacob Hansen, who I usually like his mixing too on records. Something else to point out about this as well. But going back to the songs, I think those are two pretty strong advanced singles. Other songs I really enjoy, some deeper cuts actually, like Cast Evil Out, one of my favourite tracks. Love the Anette chorus in that one. Loved Hear My Say, with big ballad towards the latter part of the album. Huge performance from Anette. It's emotional, it will tug on your heartstrings, and it may even draw a tear from your eyes. However tough you think you are, that Anette song may well just get a tear from you. And that's a great song, really awesome. And yeah, for me though, there were a few weaker tracks. For me, like Requiem, Arise and Greedy World, I think it was, were just not quite as on point or on the money in terms of big moments. Those moments you're looking for with symphonic metal, with an Anette Olzon performance, just lacking in that power. I would say either the power or perhaps the imagination that a lot of the other songs had on the album. So because of that, I'm not going to give this album quite as high a score as I might have done. For me at the moment, I'm a little bit undecided on whether I'd give this a 7 or a 7.5. And I usually always give a 7 or a 7.5, but for the first time perhaps, and there's been a first on the channel recently with the lowest score I've given an album on this channel very recently. So I'm going to give this a 7.25 because I feel torn with that, and I feel like that sort of settles it, that goes down the middle. That's probably about perfect in terms of how I'm feeling with this album right at this moment in time. I do like to say and reserve, some element of later judgment with albums sometimes, and this particular album has only very recently come out as well, but I have given it quite a few listens. But I've been enjoying it. I think it's a good release. Definitely one for Anette Olzon fans or of that era of Nightwish fans. I'd definitely give this a shout. I think if you enjoy symphonic metal, also definitely give this one a shot. And yeah, otherwise from me, hope you enjoyed the review. Don't forget to drop a like and a sub if you enjoy these kind of reviews. I also do album rankings. I'm doing Symphonic Sundays, which is a series dedicated especially to symphonic metal. Also, I sometimes dip into horror and fantasy content as well. So until next time, everybody, have a great weekend. Bye for now.